The Indominus Rex, Goji Center's unstoppable killing machine, a living extinction event, the embodiment of plague and terror. But today, we have a hybrid monster that can actually best the Indominus 2.0, not on raw strength, but by using its speed and intelligence to wear down this beast and slay the untamable king. Kratotuarus Deovinator. This is the monster that will bring down the Indominus Rex, and the key to fighting the Indominus plague. Now we're going to break down what makes the Kratotuarus such a legendary hunter and why it will slay this hybrid demon. First, let's start with the Kratotuarus. This gives us a couple good traits. It starts us off with a predator, so this will give us some good hunting instincts. It also gives us horns, which will be useful later, and it starts us off with a good set of armor. Additionally, it has a ball and socket joint in its arms, so our hybrid will have plenty of mobility. And a large caudal femorales muscle means that this hybrid will be able to run almost as fast as the Kratotuarus. The only drawback is the Kratotuarus can only run very fast in a straight line and has trouble making tight turns. Next ingredient is the Indoraptor. The Indoraptor gives us some additional armor, longer arms, additional mobility from side to side, and high intelligence. The Indoraptor also has a bunch of other genetic goodies such as a strong immune system, resistance to toxins, and a strong bite force. We will also be using the Indoraptor's teeth, which will become more important later in this video. Next up is Desmatosuchus. This is a primitive crocodilian in the family Aidasauria. This gives us some impressive back spikes and shoulder spikes along with plates of armor along the back. Also, because this is a crocodilian, this will also improve our hybrid's ability to heal and resist against diseases. Next piece of the puzzle is Spicomelis. This dinosaur is a primitive thyreophorans who is thought to have extensive spikes all over its body, some of them, in fact many of them, being fused to the ribs. So, this gives us a decent set of armor, however it isn't going to weigh us down as much as an Ankylosaurus or Gargoylosaurus would. Now obviously our last few ingredients have forced our hybrid to be a quadruped, so we need another quadrupedal carnivore if we want this thing to function as best as it can. So we're going to add Quincana, the prehistoric Australian crocodile that lived a few thousand years ago, believe it or not, and was terrestrial. This again reinforces different parts of the body that wouldn't have been armored otherwise, ties everything instinctually and muscularity together when it comes to being a quadrupedal carnivore, and, like with some of the last few ingredients, it increases that immune system efficiency, which is going to be really important when battling the Indominus Rex's diseases. Our next stop on our grocery list of ingredients is going to be a 2-for-1, Komodo dragon and axolotl, both of which are quadrupedal carnivores, and the Komodo dragon has an impressive set of venom that is a blood thinner, so one bite from our hybrid could cause delirium, blood loss, immune suppression, and even necrosis. Secondly, axolotls have some of the best healing and regeneration in the world. Now obviously, our hybrid won't be able to regenerate as fast or even maybe as much of its body as an axolotl. However, this means it does have an edge in terms of recovering from some of these injuries that it will be sustaining. Also, we're going to use the axolotl's gills to make 3 long sharp spikes on its neck, forming a sort of collar, like a spiked dog collar, which helps herding dogs fight off lions, bears, hyenas. This will make it more difficult for things to grab and bite at our hybrid's neck. We will also be using the Komodo dragon's genes to help build our hybrid a new heart, which will come into more importance later. And we're going to keep the Komodo dragon's lips, because a lot of Jurassic Park dinosaurs don't have lips, and therefore their teeth would just rot away. And again, that'll be more important later on, but we're going to keep the Komodo dragon's lips. Also, the axolotl has no dictation on the hybrid's ability to breed. This hybrid lays eggs, probably about 8 to 12. Also, we're going to keep a couple of the Komodo dragon's teeth genes, because those will be important later on. Next, we have cuttlefish DNA. Now, cuttlefish can use their chromatophores to hunt, as they can create various patterns to confuse the brains of fish. Now, this will be helpful for 1, camouflage. 2, the Kratotuarus can make itself a lot more intimidating by using various color techniques and usages of its chromatophores, because it will need these to help confuse rivals or get away from opponents that it is being beaten by. Next, we're going to be using the shrew. We're going to keep the shrew's lips, the muscular lips, which allow it to snarl and make facial expressions. So our hybrid is going to keep that. We're going to keep the shrew's heterodont teeth formation, so we can kind of customize what our hybrid's jaw looks like. And although this diagram doesn't show it, we're going to use the shrew's iron-coated teeth, not only in the Kratotuarus's mouth, but also you can use things called CRISPR, which is a protein of bacteria that allows them to fight viruses, to cut and slice pieces of genetic code and apply them to other parts of the body. This is how we've gotten flies with legs where their antenna should be, or more sets of legs than they should have. So we're going to apply this iron coating to bits of armor on the Kratotuarus's body, its horns, its teeth, and its claws. Granted, you can also change the amount of iron being deposited. So some parts of the body are less armored than others, because obviously if they all had the same amount of iron coating, our hybrid would not be able to move. So our end result is a hybrid with highly mobile arms, is not carrying an insane amount of armor per its armor's effectiveness, is venomous, and is immune to the Indominus Rex's venom, as shrews are immune to their own venom. I would also like to mention the other things that I said I was going to mention earlier in this video. First off, we're going to use the shrew, Komodo dragon, and Indoraptor genes to engineer our hybrid's new set of teeth. The incisors and molars are shrew. We have a couple teeth from the Indoraptor that are straight up and down, that are kind of where the canines usually are. And in between the canines and the molars are backward-facing Komodo dragon teeth. Also, dinosaurs have flow-through lungs and air sacs, which allow a constant flow of air in and out of the body. Also, Komodo dragons have a 3-chambered heart that acts similar to a 4-chambered heart, and shrews have a true 4-chambered heart. So that is gonna combine and work together with our flow-through lung to make a very efficient respiratory system for our hybrid. And is highly intelligent, very fast. And the reason it is still very fast, even though it has all this armor, the Spicomelis and Desmatasuchus genes are still promoting muscular growth in the legs and arms. However, the muscular growth that they're being grown for, but carrying proportionally less armor. Therefore, our hybrid is still fast. And that is important, that the hybrid is faster than the Indominus Rex. So our Kratotuarus needs to be faster, which will be helped by its hemotoxic venom, which will cause the Indominus to bleed, and when a creature loses blood, its muscles aren't getting as much oxygen, so the Indominus will over time succumb to blood loss and necrosis, so it won't be able to fight back as effectively as it would otherwise, it won't be able to run as fast as it would otherwise, and it won't be able to fight off diseases as it would otherwise, because blood carries white blood cells which fight diseases. Now, the Kratotuarus is not going in blind. It has faced other hybrids and won against them before, using similar tactics it will use against the Indominus Rex 2.0, which breaks down as follows. Hit and run tactics. The Kratotuarus is never beating the Indominus Rex ever in a strength match. Like a head-on conflict, the Kratotuarus is losing. It might take 2 or 3 Kratotuarus to kill an Indominus without using some sort of hit and run tactic. Second, the Kratotuarus knows it has to attack very quickly and then run away. However, if it is hit, it would be very difficult for the Indominus to hit its flank, neck, face, or back without slashing itself on spikes. And the Desmatosuchus' spikes go up above the back, so overhead slashes or bites from the Indominus Rex onto the back will just go into the spikes. The Kratotuarus will also need to partake in something called flesh shearing, by running by the Indominus and taking off chunks of meat and armor from the Indominus' body. This is what's thought to have happened when Giganotosaurus and other giant carnivores would hunt Argentinosaurus and other giant herbivores. Kratotuarus is going to need to hit and run, take a chunk out of the Indominus, and do this over the course of several hours or even a few days. But over time, the Kratotuarus' venom is going to get to the Indominus Rex. The Indominus will start to slow down, and it'll take more and more damage every time the Kratotuarus comes back. Also, the Kratotuarus is eating this flesh that's shearing off the Indominus, so any injury it is sustaining is getting regenerated fairly quickly. Granted, not instant and not as comically fast as an axolotl, but it is going to be healing and doing much better than the Indominus. Another tactic the Kratotuarus will partake in is predating the Indominus' young. Although a full Indominus Rex will take a long time before it finally keels over and dies, especially with its strong immune system, a baby or a juvenile, even a subadult Indominus could be a very easy kill for our Kratotuarus. Kratotuarus can also begin to eat other species of dinosaur, so the Indominus' options are becoming lower and lower, and then they have to end up fighting each other. So the Kratotuarus can nip any chances of the population of Indominus Rexes going up, and is actually encouraging the Indominus Rexes to start fighting each other, all the while taking chunks out of their flesh and eating their young. Now, as for the virus, or bacteria, or fungus, or plague, the Indominus plague probably isn't one disease, it's probably dozens. Just they've all been mutated, and they're all now somehow making their ways off Isla Nublar and onto the mainland. You see, just because a bunch of diseases infect one thing doesn't mean they all meld together into one super disease. And most of the diseases the Indominus get infected with may not even mutate all that much. Many of them might just stay the same. Others might rapidly evolve and do things that no one could have ever predicted they would. But that's the thing with mutations, there's no way to predict them. So you could run the simulation of the Indominus Rex and its diseases multiple times, thousands of times, and get new diseases, new symptoms, new ways of transmission every single time. Because the Indominus isn't encountering and mutating and being infected by one disease, it's doing that with potentially hundreds. And that's kind of what makes it dangerous, because it's part great ape, and humans are great apes. So the Indominus Rex plague really hinges on that one of its diseases that it comes in contact with adapts to attack great apes, and for some reason evolves a bunch of insane symptoms. Now the Kratotuarus is made of very similar ingredients to the Indominus Rex. So if the Indominus can be a carrier for all these diseases and either be unharmed or have minimal harm done to itself, then so could the Kratotuarus. And as for a cure with all these diseases, that's why it would be so difficult to get rid of them. Because the second you put out one, there's still 8 other deadly bacteriums or viruses going around, and the one you just put down is probably mutated. So the best bet to take out these diseases, just wait for the Kratotuarus to kill an Indominus, take its body and analyze it, and see if it's formed some sort of antibodies or defense against them. And if it hasn't, this other species that these diseases are infecting probably have, and so probably has the Kratotuarus. So the Kratotuarus isn't completely stopping the plague, is just expediting the cures for these various diseases, which could save thousands, if not millions of lives. Our god-hunting bull also won't be on Isla Nublar alone. Several Kratotauruses were used to kill the Stegoceratops populations, the Spinotaur raptor, the Nungasaurus, the Indoraptor, the Indoraptor 2.0, the Carniraptor, and the Pyratator, along with the Pteroquetzal. So the Kratotauruses could very easily end up working together. They also would need two of them to reproduce. Now, although that means they won't reproduce like rats, like the Indominus Rex, it means that after the Indominus Rex is finally extinct, we won't have a situation where we've replaced one hybrid demon that reproduces like rats with another. The Kratotaurus may not have the best sense of smell, however, and that is the one time the Indominus Rex could be able to sneak up on it. The Indominus Rex have some of the best sensory organs on the entire planet. Like the best vision, the best sense of smell, the best sense of infrasound. There's not really a word for that. Now the Kratotaurus will have pretty good senses, but it won't be able to outmatch the Indominus Rex when it comes to who can detect who first. But it doesn't need to. It's faster, it can cause more injuries, and it can heal from injuries quicker. And that's why the Kratotaurus is the new king of Isla Nublar.